Welcome back to Push the
Come to a
Cookie
show with me.
Alex
Come to a show with me.
I want to come to a show with you.
Alright.
You gotta keep
He
it
looked
friendly.
right at me when he said
I
that.
know, I was so close to going to.
I didn't get an invitation though.
I
You
had
know,
a-
I had
that
a
was.
hotel room. You could have.
I would have, man. I was gonna go with my brother and ask him if he wanted to go, or I was
It's going
gonna,
up higher. It's going up higher.
or I was gonna go by myself.
See, that was the problem I had.
I have the gig. It's gonna lower a bit.
That was fast.
Yeah.
Jesus, Ken, it's not very good, buddy.
No, he did that well. He did that amazingly.
I suck
well.
at this.
Hey, can you turn down the suck
I like
a
that
little
the
bit?
look at the building's name. Jason, did you see the name of the
No.
building? It's a damage control.
I wish there was a way to fix this for everyone
A
except
subsidiary of Skybridge Blue.
Skybridge Blue and Lambridge. See, damage control.
Nice.
getting worse.
Damage control.
We specialize in controlling
It's
damage.
coming. It's coming. It's coming. Oh, you're Mr. Fizzle. You better go up
Oh,
north.
Mr. Fizzle
Nice.
Sticks.
You got this.
Mr. Fizzle Sticks.
You'll have full. Oh nope, you're
Go
gonna
up the
die.
other side too.
Aw, you lived.
Shucks.
Bogus.
Maybe
That's bogus.
wait until it's high this
That's
time.
bogus.
Wait until it's high.
It's
this
bogus,
time
man.
Before you take
It's
off.
But it heals you
bogus.
every time, so that's good. All right, do it while the speed. Do it.
What am I swinging off of?
The sky.
Swinging off of things.
The
Quick,
s-
the cellular destruction is coming upon you.
Coming up, coming up.
Coming up, coming up. There it comes, there it
Coming
comes.
up,
Oh,
coming
Mr.
up.
Fizzle's back.
Nice, fizzle it up, bro. Oh my God,
Just
you
fizzled.
halfway. Yep, halfway. You gonna die.
He just fizzled his way out.
Look
Aw.
at me, I'm Zoidberg.
I love
I
he
was
just-
just gonna talk.
He just slams his body into
Go,
the.
go, go, go.
What the
go,
hell?
go,
That's
go,
kind of
go.
unfair.
Got it.
Jeez.
Right?
Share their domestic disputes on the subway.
Crap.
Holy shite.
And emergency
That was kind of ridiculous.
Cheese it.
You know, also important. If the network had
Look at all those
crashed,
identical
it would
rooms.
cost
I committed though. I was like, I'm getting there.
Totes a gotes.
Harry's project should be safe.
Harry's project should be super safe.
Safe project.
Hey, we just got all the labs in that southern area.
Nice.
All right. Southern Manhattan is done.
Southern man.
I'm Southern Man.
That's
I mean, I'm Southern Man.
But that's a song.
Southern Man?
Yeah, by Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young.
Southern Man. Take me
Southern
by the
Man.
hand with
Okay.
your sunken plan.
I'm a Southern man.
You're a Southern Man.
Southern man.
All right.
When you're up shit creek with a turd for a paddle.
All right.
You're a Southern man.
Southern man.
Southern man. Southern man.
I am Ted Sutherman.
I hope we're
Southern
not
man.
offending anybody from the South.
And if so,
I don't think that's.
good.
First of all, I don't think that's possible.
No, oh.
What?
Careful.
That was a compliment, bro.
I was like, okay,
I
so
don't know
people from
anymore.
the South are unhurt.
I think the more offended people get nowadays, the better for society.
Well, then I think we're winning every
Strengthens
day.
people.
I mean, people
And
get
it
offended so
strengthens
much.
people, exactly. People need to.
Whenever the term see, I think that the worst word that came in the English language recently is the word microaggression.
about it?
I don't care for the concept, and
Well, the concept means you can read people's minds, basically.
No, I just don't.
I just think.
can't handle that now offensiveness has come to such a point where like even the subtlest of things
Right.
is going to be interpreted as negative.
It's
when in
not
reality,
good, man.
I just don't. I mean, like I understand what they're getting at, like, but I don't think that. If
Dude,
you
it-
are under the mentality that everybody has an agenda to a point that they're molding their entire conversations into insert and demean at all times, I don't feel that's happening. Does it not exist? I'm not saying that, but I mean, if you considerably think like,
Probably only exists
oh, when
if
he talks,
someone's-
you're saying microaggressions to me all the time. Really?
If
Like
you
I'm just
assume
using
it's a
words.
word.
Yeah.
It
Like, if
only
you
exists if
assume-
you're strapped to a
Like,
chair
like,
and someone's
yes,
trying to do it to you.
If I want to be
Like-
aggressive against somebody, I'm not going to be micro about it anyways. You're gonna
Right,
know.
right.
Right.
But the
Being
problem is,
macro.
no. Then people are gonna argue unconscious bias against you.
But once
the thing
again,
is, it's killing freedom
Which
of
is reading-
speech.
That is the
Just
biggest problem. I was
mind
gonna say
reading.
right there. Once they start putting laws on speech, that's when there's gonna be serious issues.
Absurd.
Because that's literally an opinion. Like you can literally put laws on any speech
Oh,
at
yeah,
that
you can
point,
be
because they could be like, well,
you
that's
can be like-
offensive.
You
So
can be like, I don't like fat chicks. Bam, in jail.
anything
like-
you
Well,
say,
no, but that's-
anything
I
that
mean,
someone
think about it,
interprets you saying being offensive, they could turn it like that's what a microaggression is. Essentially, I'm going to interpret something that you say as offensive, so I think you should,
But
I've
even-
considered that
and it's even to
hating
the
on
point
me
that,
or being
like, a
aggressive.
preference. Like, okay, so yeah, that example. Like, if I said, like, oh, I don't find larger women attractive.
Fat women.
Well, then not
No,
yeah.
but I mean, if I said that statement,
Uh-huh.
it's pointing out a preference of mine.
But somebody might take it
regardless
as a
of where it came
microaggression.
from or not,
Right.
but I exist with this preference
What am I-
today.
But
Is that? But am I trying to be, aggressive toward anybody? No, I'm speaking about a very personal opinion.
Right.
It is not, the aim is not to be derogatory, but the fear.
Well, that's
exists
exactly the
now
problem with,
where,
like-
and that's just one example. I'm not. It's not.
No, I get what you're saying.
everything,
Yeah,
it's just
actually.
like, okay, I guess you could be offended that somebody,
That's the problem with
I
hate
just
speech
don't-
laws, though.
Well,
Well,
It is. Because anybody
Words
could
are
interpret
not-
anything you say as hate speech.
Right,
A lot of
okay.
people even say,
Okay, I
if you
understand
said
that.
you
You're
don't,
saying
if
that
you're, if you don't prefer bigger girls, now that somebody could take that as being like
But you're
aggressive,
saying that there's
act
just-
of aggression
that
towards
that
them.
There's no controllable scope for what they could consider to be, that realm. Is that what you're saying? That there's no way that
Right,
they could really,
exactly,
it would just be like,
exactly.
whatever you say it is.
But one thing I definitely
Okay,
think,
but
and
that's
I
an
even notice,
understandable- That's an understandable difference.
one thing I think,
get that.
one thing I do see too is that by sensitizing everybody and making them sensitive to everything people say,
sensitize you.
it literally
You mean
weakens their character.
desensitize.
No, sensitizing, not
Oh, you're
desensitizing.
sensitizing? Oh.
I think people need to be more desensitized to speech because people take everything way too seriously and way too offensively.
You can get that guy
Whereas
too.
if you
I see
let
what you're
if you
saying.
let things brush off your shoulder, you'd be a happier person and better
first
off.
People
Take
need
down
to be able to
everybody.
take something
Hearing
that's
criticism.
insulting and
People can't handle
just be
criticism
insulted,
in a,
Criticism.
that
is
or
offensive.
Like,
criticism.
I don't have to agree
People
with you all the time, and also my words.
Right.
It doesn't
Exactly.
matter. It's not going to matter because, like, I'm not. I mean, if I have an opinion different than yours, yeah, we might have an argument and we might disagree. We might be mad at each other for a 2nd, but that doesn't mean that it's bad.
Right.
Right.
Well, that's how these speech laws
Speech
skew
is the
things.
answer.
Yeah.
Oh,
That
dang it.
it's
Speech
If you-
is the answer.
if you
yes,
reduce the
exactly.
use of
If you
talking-
take away speech,
Yeah, look at
what's
that.
left to solve things? Violence.
Right. That's why we talk.
Exactly.
We
That's
talk
odd. I
so
think
that
we just agreed
that's
on a
the
very
whole thing with
weird thing.
with waving at.
I
it's
was
like,
thinking
have
about
no
this
weapon.
exact
I have no weapon.
concept earlier.
Yes.
No, but I think
agree
wow, we all
wholeheartedly.
agree on this thing actually that there's
Absolutely.
no way to control the speech because it'll be turned more
Right.
bad.
Once you get rid of speech, it starts taking away the ability to resolve things. Differences. Let's say it
The
that way.
problem with our society right now is a
Absolutely.
lot of people are changing the definitions of words.
Well, that's always gonna happen.
It's not that. It's, they're trying to make literally hate speech laws. And once you
Yeah, I
start
know that.
once you start making and once you start making laws on speech, it starts opening. It's like canceling a TV episodes in a TV show. Like, they say you cancel a few episodes, all of a sudden the show gets canceled. You start making speech laws on this and that, then it turns into this,
At
and
the
that, and then
same
this and
time,
this and this and
I
that.
don't want anything. I don't want this to turn
What
into
am I
a
supposed to be
fascist
doing?
society.
keep them like
I think
You
making
gotta
speech laws will turn it into more of a fascist society, though,
I don't know.
because you're putting laws on what people can have say, literally.
I guess
Fiskmen Rescue.
there would be only a few things.
don't
Who's
know
going to
what you're
determine
supposed
what
to
you
do.
can and can't say, though?
Well, in that way.
How are you supposed to rescue
in that
them?
way,
I don't know,
I
man.
am.
Oh, you got to go and you got to take care of the
Right.
the helicopter.
Socially liberal. But I
I
am not. I agree.
I
with
think
there.
most liberals
Oh, you
and
gotta get
conservatives
rid
are
of the
going to
bad
agree
guys,
on this
too.
exact conversation because everybody.
I don't know. I think there is a lot of disagreement.
I think there is too.
Okay,
No,
it's,
I
it's
do.
the helicopter, dude. It's the
Dude,
hel.
I'm trying
People
to
misunderstand
get up.
what
Just trying to get up
the
right
thing
now.
is that they're even disagreeing on, though, half the time.
Okay, so
Right.
there's demons
It's
there
like,
and
wait,
But
there's
see-
the
you
fist
realize
guys,
we
and you
agree,
gotta.
right?
Right.
Oh, no. See, I was just automatically.
But see, you do what we were talking about
All right,
earlier is
you-
once you
Ken,
start
so
making
you gotta
laws on
kill the
speech.
demon guys?
Yeah. Okay.
No, don't kill him.
No, it's like
There,
it
get
shouldn't,
that-
it shouldn't be.
I know what I
it
gotta do,
shouldn't
man.
be
I got this.
controlled by a governmental institution. Like it should be socially, chastised. If you want to say something like, kill the Jews, you should be socially
Ostracized for that.
ostracized for
Right.
saying something that
Right.
ridiculous. But you shouldn't be I don't know. You shouldn't be fined for calling somebody a he because you didn't know that he
Right.
prefers.
But they're making
Oh,
laws.
right. Yeah, you don't
They're
have the.
you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're being penalized when you don't know.
Yeah, and that's that's ridiculous.
And I know ignorance isn't doesn't exempt you from the law, but also too, it's like you should give the person the opportunity to be like, oh, I'm sorry, I'll go by he. Oh, okay, cool. I'm so sorry.
Right.
Right. Well, that's common courtesy.
And I'm not gonna go out of my way to offend somebody.
Right.
either.
Most people don't,
Right,
though.
that's what I mean. Like, I don't.
And
Any
exactly,
normal
that should
person,
be
most
socially-
normal people don't.
Right. And I do see
Use
the,
gadgets, webs, and
I
throwos to
do
weaken
see
the
the
demon brew.
point of some of that. For instance, if you allow everything, so to speak, to be uttered,
Oh, you got
then
him!
every subsequent generation has less and less of like, no, dude, you don't say that, And if somebody isn't socialized and isn't socially ostracized and just exists within this small town or whatever.
But you're always going to have that.
But that's
that has always existed and will always exist,
Right.
even with speech laws. You're
But would
gonna.
you, and not that notwithstanding, you would prefer to live in a society where fewer people.
I would prefer to live in a
do.
society where the problem is the majority of people don't think for themselves. Essentially, you know what I mean? They generally get their ideas from what they hear and what society as a whole tells them, and then they push those beliefs onto. Then they believe those things, and then then they spread those beliefs.
Right.
You know what I mean? I know you know what I'm talking about.
I do.
And that's something
Why don't you do the
that's
square and circle.
is that I
mean,
I don't know what to say really about it.
Focus
It is what it is.
Oh,
You know?
I think
Use that to
with
heal.
globalization and people becoming more connected, and small towns sort of shrinking in a sense, because there is so much more connectivity.
Alright, they're above you.
To the world through the internet and what have you.
Mm-hmm.
They're in between both these
You would
buildings, then?
hope
Yeah.
that would lead to more of a sort of
The problem is people tend to
kindness and not raising your kids to hate.
right,
Okay, right
but
there, right
hate
there.
comes from
Right there,
disagreement.
just right there.
Unfortunately,
Sometimes.
even think about religion in general. Like, okay, just religion. Just if I'm just singling this
Oh,
out as an example, okay.
That's
If
a
I
good
believe in, or like, let's use football teams, okay. I like this football team. You like that football team, and if they're against each other, then I'm against you.
Right.
And people really get mad about that stuff, and really, truly, like, once you start picking sides and choosing teams of belief systems and this and that, that's what causes people to hate each other.
I prefer this group of people who play this stupid sport, who make millions of dollars and wear this color over your pieces of shit who make millions of dollars and play a worthless sport. I hate you for it.
Dude, it's true.
So dumb, dude. It just kills me. And it's almost like a...
That's how literally, but everything is that dumb when you think about it. That's how
Dude,
people literally want to be in their own little groups. It's pack mentality. It's how human beings function,
Totally.
unfortunately.
Oh my God.
It's an animalistic behavior.
why
This
I
is my
like-
pack, wolf pack, and that's your wolf pack, and
so I
don't
would-
come in contact with mine, but I want more people to join mine. That way we
Absolutely.
become stronger.
Do you want to be part of mine?
But then if yours gets big enough,
Whoa, you guys tense.
then they create little separate groups in the big group, and it separates again.
Yeah.
That's exactly how it works
Right.
forever
You
and
got
ever
one
and
up on
ever.
top. Dude. Or you got one right there.
From the moment that the people below the hill met the people on the hill, there was that, right? It's
I
like,
just think that's human nature,
you
and
look
yeah.
slightly different.
Mhm.
You're not part of my
Yeah.
tribe, or what is it? My cousin before. No, what is it? My cousin before my neighbor, my brother before my cousin,
Uh-huh.
something like that.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Degrees of separation.
Yeah.
Like, no, man, I love you. You're like my best
One
friend.
more group,
It's like,
and then,
yeah,
we
well,
got
this is
an
my
episode
cousin.
about
He's
one-
family.
Yeah,
I
you
kinda
gotta go
have-
up north. You
this
gotta
is
go
my
up north. You
brother,
gotta go
so,
high.
Dude, it's my brother,
Oh,
you know.
dude.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like
There you
there are degrees of that.
But
too.
that I think that
Sometimes
when it really
buttons
boils
just
down
don't work
to
the way you want 'em
is
to.
that
Like,
human
see?
beings
Oh,
strive to
admit it.
have their own defining things that make them feel like they're different from everybody else, because we don't
Yeah.
want to feel like we're a number and
We wanna be
just
an
a part of the
individual.
masses. So we choose to be parts of different groups and have different things like that. That way we feel special in those groups.
Down below you.
But that's what I mean. But once those groups
Belonging.
grow and grow and grow, then you want to be separate from them because you feel like you're too much of. That's what I mean. So you're always going to have those groups. We just got to find a way for all the
And
groups
so-
to live together in harmony, right?
In Star Trek.
Right. Yeah,
there-
how does they do it?
Star Trek, the
Well, it's a TV show.
I mean, like, I
but,
believe
it's
that-
a utopian view of a potential future, which
Mhm.
I would love to believe.
We all
Could-
would love to,
could
though.
be what happens.
Mhm.
Whereas in reality, I think in not too long, where they're going to be water empires, and people are going to be like,
Fist.
like killing each other over the.
Well, here's what
basic
happens. Here's what
resources.
happens
No
in
one
it.
has clean
But think about it
water.
like this. Okay, so once a society gets so big, any
Check the
society in
roof.
general, I think there's going to be. I mean, this is just a theory, but you're going to have some sort of a war, and then one party or side or whatever, one nation will take over. And then that'll be the norm for a while until they start creating enough separate groups that separate that nation again. And then they're going to destroy it or whatever, whoever's going to take over and destroy that. And it just like keeps hitting the reset button over and over again.
I agree.
Because that's human nature to
agree,
do
man.
that, to separate and be parts of groups and then,
Now-
take, it's just.
Do you think that human nature,
Pretty cool looking.
philosophically,
Mhm.
will change and be defined differently given a sufficient amount of time?
That's
that is
that's hard to say.
possible.
I think it would have to be literally, if you're talking like in terms of some sort of evolution that changes us to get away from our hormonal and
didn't see
basic
anything.
needs as human beings. I don't know how long it would take for a change like that to occur.
What if we
That
were
may
to
or may not happen.
merge with machines in
Oh
such
man,
a
what's
capacity?
going to happen here?
Press X.
The question is though, now
Oh, I hit.
how much of
Oh, I hit the
your
wrong button.
humanity are you going to keep? Because I think the thing that makes us so much like pack mentality and all that stuff is hormones. In general, there's probably more to it than that, but that to me is the general basis for it.
But to
Whereas
mitigate-
if you merge with a machine in a way, are you going to be getting rid? Are you basically can I take my brain out of my body and put it in a machine and then
There
like
you go.
All right, guys,
Hey!
we need to cut this.
you know what I'm saying? Like,
Jesus.
we gotta end this episode. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed their crazy.
Alex is sitting here like, guys, shut the hell up! Stop talking about this
There's
crap.
a helicopter chase, assholes!
Yeah, I'm watching the game.
I was just letting you guys go. You guys
No, but I was right in the center of it. I mean, I felt like I was standing between two Tesla coils, and I was just getting powered up.
I thought it was a good conversation.
We'll catch you on the next episode. Thanks again.
Bye. 1.21 gigawatts.